There is a quiet strength in those who do not feel the need to announce themselves. They do not rush to prove their worth, nor do they seek validation from the outside world. They move with certainty, not because they are louder than others, but because they have mastered the art of presence. Their energy speaks for them, and that alone commands attention. Most people believe that power comes from being the loudest voice in the room, from making sure they are seen, heard, and acknowledged. But in reality, the most powerful individuals are often the quietest. They do not waste words. They do not react impulsively. They do not explain themselves unnecessarily. Instead, they let their actions, their presence, and their energy do the talking. When you walk into a room, people do not remember the words you speak as much as they remember the way you carry yourself. They remember how they felt in your presence. Confidence does not come from excessive talking. It comes from the assurance that you do not need to talk just to fill the silence. It comes from knowing that your energy alone is enough. Look at those who truly hold influence. They are not the ones constantly demanding attention. They are the ones who command respect without asking for it. Their power is in their ability to observe, to listen, to understand before they speak. They do not waste their energy trying to convince others of their worth because they already know it within themselves. Silence is not weakness, it is control. It is the ability to withhold unnecessary words, to resist the need for external validation, to know when to speak and when to remain quiet. The ones who are always talking, always reacting, always explaining, those are the ones who have not yet realized the power of restraint. They believe that by saying more, they will be taken more seriously. But the opposite is true. The more you speak without purpose, the less impact your words have. People listen when you speak less but say more. When every word you choose carries weight. When your silence forces others to lean in, to pay attention, to wonder what you are thinking. That is power. Not in being the loudest, but in being the most intentional. Silence also creates mystery, and mystery is magnetic. When you do not reveal everything at once, when you are not constantly available, people begin to respect your time and energy. They wonder about you. They seek you out. They listen more closely when you do speak. That is the difference between those who are merely heard and those who are truly listened to. Those who have mastered their presence understand that their power is not in how much they say, but in how they carry themselves. They do not engage in unnecessary arguments. They do not speak to fill the void. They know that real influence comes from being composed, from being strategic, from letting their energy command the room before they even say a word. And the moment you embrace this truth, you shift. You no longer feel the need to over-explain yourself. You no longer waste energy proving your worth. You no longer speak out of nervousness or fear. Instead, you move with purpose. You speak with precision. You allow your presence to say what words cannot. So stay silent when needed. Let your energy speak louder than your voice. Let your actions make the impact. And watch how respect, influence, and opportunities start to come to you, not because you demanded them, but because you carried yourself in a way that made people take notice. Most people go through life reacting. They hear something and they respond instantly. They face a challenge and they immediately try to fix it. They feel attacked and they rush to defend themselves. But in their haste to react, they often make mistakes. They say things they later regret, take actions that backfire, and make decisions from a place of fear rather than wisdom. The problem is not that they don't have the ability to handle situations well. It's that they don't give themselves the space to think. They act before they understand. They speak before they process. They let emotions drive them instead of mastering the moment. And this is why so many people find themselves caught in cycles of conflict, regret, and unnecessary struggle. There is an incredible power in restraint, in knowing that not every comment requires a response, that not every situation demands immediate action, that sometimes the best thing you can do is stay silent and let things unfold. When you do this, you give yourself time to assess. You step out of the reactionary state and into a place of awareness. You see things for what they truly are, not just how they feel in the moment. People who master this are unshakable. They are the ones who do not get easily offended, who do not waste time arguing over things that do not matter, who do not allow someone else's words or actions to dictate their emotional state. They understand that reacting impulsively often leads to regret, but responding with thoughtfulness leads to control. Silence is not just the absence of words, it is the presence of discipline. It is the ability to hold your tongue when emotions are high. It is the wisdom to recognize that some battles are not worth fighting. It is the awareness to know that not everything needs your energy. When you develop this ability, you gain control over yourself. And when you control yourself, you control the way life unfolds around you. Think about the people who are always quick to react. They are the ones who get trapped in endless cycles of drama, who lose their temper over small things, who make decisions they later wish they could take back. Now, think about those who remain calm, who observe before they respond, who do not allow themselves to be dragged into unnecessary conflict. These are the people who move through life with power. They are not controlled by situations, they control the way they experience situations. This does not mean you stay silent in the face of disrespect or injustice. It means you choose when to respond, how to respond, and whether a response is even necessary at all. It means you understand that sometimes the best way to win is not to engage, not because you are weak, but because you are too strong to be pulled into things that do not serve you. There is a saying, never argue with a fool, because from a distance, no one can tell who is who. When you argue with someone who thrives on conflict, you are feeding their energy. You are giving them exactly what they want. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to be dragged into their chaos, you maintain your power. You make it clear that their words or actions do not have the ability to control you. And that is when you truly win. The greatest form of self-mastery is not in how loudly you can speak, but in how well you can control your need to react. When you stay silent, you shift from being emotionally reactive to being intentionally responsive. You move from acting out of impulse to acting out of wisdom. You stop wasting your energy on things that do not matter and start directing it toward the things that do. So take a step back. Let silence be your first response. Give yourself time to think, to understand, to choose your words and actions wisely. The less you react, the more control you have. And the more control you have, the more effortlessly life begins to work in your favor. There is an undeniable force that we all carry within us, an energy that attracts what we need, what we desire, and what we deserve. But too often, people are too focused on trying to make things happen on their own terms. They seek approval, chase after opportunities, and exhaust themselves in the process of trying to control everything around them. They fail to realize that their energy alone has the power to pull things toward them. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, and every action you take sends out a vibration into the world. And that vibration either attracts or repels the experiences, people, and opportunities that are aligned with your energy. It's easy to forget just how much our internal state influences our external world. But when you learn to master your energy, to remain calm, centered, and focused, you start to attract the right things naturally without forcing them. The first step in harnessing this power is to understand that you do not need to chase after what you want. The energy you emit is far more powerful than any external effort. This does not mean you shouldn't take action, but it means that your action should come from a place of alignment, not desperation. When you are aligned with your true self, when you are grounded in who you are and what you stand for, what is meant for you will come. Think of it this way. Imagine you are a magnet. Your thoughts, your energy, and your feelings are the forces that make you magnetic. When you are at peace with who you are, when you are aligned with your purpose, the right people and opportunities will naturally be drawn to you. But when you are anxious, fearful, or uncertain, you repel that energy. Desperation, doubt, and insecurity create a pushback in the universe, and as a result, what you want seems to move further away from you. This is why silence is so important. When you quiet the noise, you begin to recalibrate your energy. You allow yourself to tune in to the higher frequency within you, the one that knows you are worthy, that knows you are capable, that knows you are deserving of everything you desire. This energy, rooted in confidence and self-assurance, will naturally draw in the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences. The more you chase, the more you push, but the more you align with your true energy, the more you attract. It's the law of attraction in its purest form. When you trust that what is meant for you will come at the right time, you stop rushing, you stop overthinking, you stop forcing things to happen. Instead, you start moving with the flow of life, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. Another aspect of this is understanding that when you are aligned with your energy, you become a beacon. You begin to resonate with others in a way that draws them in. People are naturally attracted to those who exude calm, confidence, and inner peace. You don't have to beg for attention, seek validation, or prove your worth. Your energy speaks volumes, and others are naturally drawn to it. Look at the people who seem to have everything effortlessly. They are not out there begging for opportunities or constantly selling themselves. They don't need to chase after relationships, success, or wealth. They simply align with their energy, trust the process, and watch as life flows to them. These are the people who understand the subtle art of attraction, who know that their true worth cannot be defined by external factors, but by the strength of their own energy. The more you align with your true energy, the less you have to force. You become magnetic, and people, opportunities, and experiences naturally gravitate toward you. When you stop chasing, when you stop trying to manipulate situations, you allow the universe to bring to you what is meant for you in the right way and at the right time. This is not to say that you should sit back and do nothing, but rather that your actions should come from a place of trust, not desperation. You don't need to hustle endlessly to prove your worth. You don't need to chase after validation or recognition. Instead, you align with your higher self, take inspired action, and let the right things come to you. In the end, your energy is your greatest asset. When you understand how to harness it and stay aligned with your true self, you stop pushing, forcing, and trying to make things happen. Instead, you become a magnet, and everything you need naturally comes to you. Trust your energy, trust the process, and watch as your life unfolds with ease and grace. When you embrace silence, you also give yourself the space to grow. Growth is not a process that can be rushed. It happens gradually, in moments of stillness. When you stop trying to control every aspect of your life and allow things to unfold as they should. People often believe that growth is about constantly doing, achieving, and moving forward, but in reality, growth is just as much about being as it is about doing. It is about becoming comfortable with where you are, accepting the present moment, and allowing yourself to evolve in your own time without the pressure to force anything. The key to personal growth lies in the space between action and reaction. It is in the pauses, the moments when you take a step back and reflect, that you truly begin to understand yourself and the world around you. Growth comes not from constantly pushing forward, but from understanding what is happening within and around you. When you give yourself the permission to pause, to reflect, and to simply be in the present moment, you give yourself the opportunity to grow in a way that feels natural and effortless. In a world that is always moving, always demanding something from us, it is easy to get caught up in the noise and forget that growth happens within. We often seek external validation, we push ourselves beyond our limits, and we constantly compare ourselves to others. But when you learn to be silent, when you learn to step back and quiet the mind, you create the conditions necessary for true growth. You begin to let go of the external pressures and focus inward, giving yourself the time and space to evolve in your own way. This kind of growth is not about immediate results. It is not about getting from point A to point B as quickly as possible. It is about the journey, about allowing yourself to unfold at your own pace. You stop measuring your success by the standards of others and start measuring it by how far you've come on your own path. The more you align with silence, the more you allow your growth to come naturally, without force or pressure. When you stop forcing things, you create the environment for true change. You begin to shed old habits, old beliefs, and old ways of thinking that no longer serve you. Silence gives you the space to reflect on what no longer works in your life and to make space for new, healthier patterns to emerge. Instead of running from discomfort, you learn to sit with it, to explore it, and to understand the lessons it brings. In this way, silence becomes a tool for transformation, for personal evolution. Personal growth is often uncomfortable, but when you embrace silence, you begin to develop a deeper understanding of why you feel that discomfort. Instead of reacting to it with resistance, you learn to sit with it, allowing it to guide you toward the next stage of your journey. The more you learn to sit with discomfort, the more you learn about yourself. And in doing so, you unlock your true potential. You stop running from challenges and begin to see them as opportunities for growth. True growth does not come from avoiding pain, but from facing it with an open mind and heart. Silence allows you to process your feelings, to learn from your experiences, and to move forward with clarity and intention. When you allow yourself to be still, you give your mind and body the space they need to heal, to learn, and to grow in a way that feels natural. In essence, silence helps you cultivate patience with yourself. It allows you to trust the process of growth, knowing that things will unfold in their own time. It teaches you that you do not need to rush your development, but that with each moment of stillness, you are becoming more of who you are meant to be. And in this space, you give yourself permission to evolve naturally, without the pressure of external expectations or comparisons. When you stop trying to control every aspect of your life, when you allow yourself the grace to be still, you open the door to effortless growth. You begin to see the patterns in your life more clearly, to understand your true desires, and to connect with your purpose in a way that feels aligned and authentic. Silence is not a void, it is a fertile ground for growth, where you can nourish your mind, body, and soul. And in this space of growth, everything begins to flow effortlessly, naturally, and with a sense of peace that only comes when you stop trying to force the process and let it unfold on its own. There's a reason why the most powerful people in the world are not the loudest in the room. They are not the ones constantly explaining themselves, seeking validation, or forcing their way into opportunities. They're the ones who understand the power of stillness. They know that when you stop chasing, stop reacting, and stop desperately seeking, things begin to come to you naturally. You see, everything in this universe operates on energy. Every thought, every action, every word you speak carries a frequency. And the more you try to force things, the more resistance you create. People who are always talking, always proving, always chasing, without realizing it, are actually repelling the very things they desire. When you are desperate for something, when you feel like you must have it now, your energy is rooted in lack, and what you project, you attract. But when you become still, when you allow life to unfold without grasping for control, you shift into a state of abundance. This is why silence is so powerful. It's not just about keeping quiet, it's about realigning your energy, stepping into a space where you attract rather than chase. Think of a magnet. It doesn't run after metal, yet everything it's meant to draw in comes to it effortlessly. That's the power of a calm, centered mind. Most people don't realize that silence is a practice. In a world where everyone is conditioned to react, to prove themselves, to explain, choosing to be still feels uncomfortable at first. The ego resists it. It wants to be heard. It wants attention. It wants validation. But the moment you learn to sit in silence and trust, you begin to notice a shift. You become more aware of your own thoughts. You start to recognize patterns in your behavior that were holding you back. You begin to understand that not everything requires your reaction, not every battle is meant to be fought with words, and not every opportunity needs to be chased. Look at the people who seem to have everything going for them, the ones who walk into a room and instantly command respect. They are not the ones talking the most. They are not the ones seeking approval. They are the ones who have mastered their presence. They move with intention. They observe before they act. They have understood that their energy, their state of being, is far more powerful than any words they could ever speak. This is why silence aligns you with the life you want. It allows you to become receptive rather than reactive. It creates space for opportunities to find you instead of you constantly fighting to create them. And most importantly, it shifts your energy from desperation to certainty. When you trust that what is meant for you will come, you stop chasing things that are not aligned with your path. People often mistake stillness for passivity, but they couldn't be more wrong. Silence is not inaction, it is strategic. It allows you to conserve your energy for the things that truly matter. It helps you listen, observe, and move with precision. Those who are always speaking, always proving, always explaining are wasting energy that could be better spent on becoming. The moment you embrace silence, you step into your power. You stop allowing external noise to dictate your internal state. You start to trust that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences will come to you when you are ready for them. The less you force, the more naturally things flow. The less you react, the more control you actually gain. And the moment you stop chasing is the moment you start attracting. So stay silent, not because you have nothing to say, but because you are learning to let your energy speak for you. Trust that what is meant for you is already on its way. Be still and watch how everything starts to align. There is something profound that happens when you learn to be still. The world slows down, and suddenly everything becomes clearer. But most people never experience this because they are too caught up in noise, both external and internal. They are constantly reacting, speaking without thinking, chasing things without knowing why. And in all this movement, they miss what was right in front of them. Imagine a body of water. When the surface is disturbed, when the waves are crashing and the currents are strong, you cannot see what lies beneath. But the moment the water becomes still, everything becomes visible. Your mind works the same way. When it is filled with distractions, worries, and constant reactions, you cannot see the opportunities, the solutions, or the truth that is already present. But the moment you learn to be silent, to allow stillness to settle in, clarity emerges. Most people are not lacking in intelligence or opportunity. They are simply overwhelmed by their own thoughts. They are so busy reacting to life that they don't take the time to observe it. But silence changes that. It creates space for awareness. It allows you to step back, to see situations from a new perspective, to recognize patterns you were blind to before. When you stop filling every moment with noise, you start to hear what truly matters. There is a reason why the most successful and intuitive people spend time in solitude. They are not afraid to be alone with their thoughts. They understand that clarity does not come from constant action. It comes from knowing when to pause. The answers you seek, the direction you need, the insights that could change everything. They do not come when your mind is crowded with unnecessary noise. They come in moments of stillness. Look at those who struggle the most. They are often the ones who never take a moment to stop, to reflect, to simply sit in silence. They jump from one thing to the next, always talking, always proving, always running, and yet they wonder why they feel lost, why they can't seem to find the right path, why life feels like a constant battle. It's because they are trying to navigate through turbulent waters when all they need to do is let things settle. Silence is not just about the absence of words. It is about creating a state of mind that is receptive rather than reactive. When you stop speaking just to fill the space, when you stop moving just for the sake of movement, you start to notice things you never saw before. The right path becomes clearer, the right decisions become easier, and most importantly, you begin to understand yourself on a deeper level. This is why the most powerful individuals are not the ones who talk the most, they are the ones who listen the best. They have trained themselves to observe before they act, to think before they speak, to understand before they judge. They do not waste their energy on distractions because they know that true clarity comes from within. The moment you learn to embrace silence, everything shifts. You no longer feel the need to react to everything. You no longer feel pressure to have all the answers immediately. You learn to trust that the right insights will come at the right time, and they do because a clear mind is like a magnet for wisdom. So take a step back. Stop filling every moment with unnecessary noise. Let the water settle. Be still and watch as clarity finds you. The answers you've been looking for have been there all along. You just needed the silence to see them.